Is engagement optimized matchmaking even a bad thing? Today we're going to be discussing this in regards to Marvel Rivals and how the player base has reacted to this information. I guess not just information, but experiencing engagement optimized matchmaking at its finest. Engagement optimized matchmaking is where a developer will intentionally, rig games slash optimize them not around fairness, but mainly around whether or not this is a fun experience for the player. This means, for example, if a player is going on a winning streak, it'll intentionally have that player go up against really bad players just so that it can boost that person's ego, making them more likely to come back in the future. This is just one example. Now, in a casual context, this is fine and dandy, but undermines all of the competitive integrity behind ranked in games such as Marvel Rivals, which is clearly using such tactics in their ranked modes. This undermines the competitive integrity of ranked and diminishes that rewarding feeling knowing that you got there yourself and it's just your skills that got you to that rank. This is proven with how there's more players in Grandmaster than there is in pretty much any other lower rank. I'm guessing that the developers implemented this because they want everyone to feel good about themselves, that they've accomplished something, but if you peel back the layers, you realize that it's kind of meaningless if everyone else is at that same rank. Now, there are games, obviously, where you feel that there is some sort of engagement optimized matchmaking, for example, in League, in Valorant, things like that. Most likely, those feelings are just outliers or sort of like random chance. Whereas in Marvel Rivals, it has been vehemently proven that there is definitely engagement optimized matchmaking. This ties into my next point of how engagement optimized matchmaking only works if you have that illusion of fairness. Now, I'm not saying that this is definitive proof that Marvel Rivals uses Eomm, but it's pretty obvious. After the game's release, they themselves have released a PhD/research paper going into how they can implement matchmaking/algorithm-based matchmaking that is meant to keep players hooked rather than provide fairness. This, by all accounts, is not definitive proof, is what everyone said at the start. But after people got really entrenched into ranked and everyone started climbing, it became very apparent that this is definitely the case. This game definitely has some sort of engagement optimized matchmaking. Now, another game, in my opinion, which obviously you can disagree with, but it is so blatantly obvious that employs such tactics, is Clash Royale. If you don't know, Clash Royale literally has bots that you will play against in trophy, meaning this is like a premier ranked fucking like game mode. These bots, once you play against them, they're either there to completely counter your deck or completely give you a free win. Either they'll play like dumbasses or they'll be absolutely cracked. So they employ these bots kind of to keep you in a certain trophy range that they want you to be at so you don't quit. If you notice, you take time off, they'll give you a bot that's just there to keep you, to stroke your ego and keep you nice and warm and, you know, get you up the ladder a bit so that you can play against players who are better than you and then get your ass beat, or play against a bot that has a deck that completely counters you. This is another example of a game that employs Eomm in a really bad way because it's very obvious. And that just kind of breaks the illusion. But really, if you think about it, kind of like the Matrix, bro, no one would have known if they had never released that paper or if it wasn't so obvious and like blatant. As we can see now, this has become a very large point of contention in the Marvel Rivals community. And just about everyone has like stopped playing the game / has had problems with engagement optimized matchmaking that's put them off the game. I'm not saying Marvel Rivals is dead, but it's definitely fell off. You can see that many people complain about engagement optimized matchmaking, even in the Steam reviews, fucking Twitter, almost every platform you can think of, there's someone complaining about it. And it's clearly an issue that needs to be addressed if they want the game to be sustainable and like live a healthy life, I guess. Especially in terms of competitiveness, you're not gonna keep a competitive fan base using these kind of like shady, underhanded tactics of trying to keep people engaged. Now, obviously, I wouldn't actually care about this if it was in casual only, which Call of Duty has this in casual, but the issue is with Call of Duty, they don't have an actual dedicated rank mode, or some Call of Duties, obviously, but yeah, that's the point. The issue is that Marvel Rivals, this isn't like ranked, this isn't casual, this isn't everything, and it's just a big turnoff. There's ranked games where you're not meant to win, but if you do perform, makes it even worse. These are games that are supposed to make your enemies like feel good about themselves, but then that just ruins the competitive integrity. Now, what can they do about this now? I'd say is like do one of those stupid fucking rank resets that every single fucking game does all of a sudden and just tone it down at least. There was a certain point of time where it was not that bad. The engagement optimized matchmaking in Marvel Rivals wasn't actually that bad. And I'm not saying that this is gonna fix everything. About everyone now has like become very accustomed to Marvel Rivals gameplay. It's not as gripping anymore. It's not like that crazy anymore to most people. So you have to have a sustainable game and a sustainable ranked system under it to keep people hooked so that they're able to like enjoy the game competitively. Because that's a big majority of the player base, to be honest. Now, I'd hope they go about this the right way, redo the ranked system in a proper way, unlike Overwatch or unlike Siege, where they just absolutely make it absolutely like 100 times worse. But I would say go about it in a way where they truly redo the ranked system instead of just putting on a different fucking like design slash front end, basically like Overwatch did. Because this could revitalize the game, because people would get that perception that the game is finally competitive and isn't actually have any RNG slash algorithm deciding whether or not they win or lose. Because it also kind of ruins it for a lot of people. Because now if they actually lose a game, but that game is actually a fair match and was not supposed to be, you know, engagement optimized or whatever, they're gonna blame Eomm as like a cope to make sure that, you know, they don't really get their feelings hurt and make sure, you know, it's not their fault. It's always the matchmaking's fault. Even though that game was supposed to be a fair one, still a cope that's there because of the system's, I guess, shortcomings. That's the issue, is that lots of people aren't living in that illusion anymore. So knowing that they have something that they can, I guess, cope with makes people turned off because they just believe that in their head, and it keeps building up resentment against the game. I'd say it's quite miserable, you know? Like, if you're having people always complain that, yeah, this was obviously engagement optimized matchmaking, this is ass, they're not gonna want to come back to the game because they know that everything is rigged. There's no point in wasting your time and putting in like hundreds and hundreds of games just to get an outcome that's like miserable. I guess the main thing I don't like with these kind of engagement optimized matchmaking systems is that they expect you to keep playing until they decide to give you your fair, you know, placement in the ranked ladder. Most people don't have the time to spare on stupid 10-minute games that are hard stomps that were predetermined and were like very clearly set up in a way that it's supposed to be like an easy win for the enemy. Most people also don't feel the gratification from when they have a game where they win very easily against the enemy team. It's kind of a waste. And like, if you're looking for that kind of casual thing, just play casual, man. Come on. Thank you guys for watching. Drop a like, drop a follow. I stream on Twitch occasionally, so tune into that if you're interested. I hope to have an intellectual and a smart comments. Okay, if you don't agree with me, bro, too bad. Okay, you have to. But with that, thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.